All righty. My name's Jamie Holler. I'm here on behalf of the Complete Athlete. I have my buddy Jack Linehan here with me today. We're going to be just discussing life and becoming the best person you can be, healthiest person you can be, mindset, athleticism, all of that good stuff. But let me first kind of introduce Jack. He's originally from Crested Butte. He lives in Aspen, Colorado, where I met him. We were introduced by his wonderful, amazing, beautiful girlfriend, Alexandra. So he's been living in Aspen for a while, but I just kind of want to talk about some of the stuff that he's accomplished, man. He's been a top 20 finisher in the Audi Power of Four. I had to write some of this stuff down because I definitely couldn't remember it. That's a 25-mile race. He's third place in the Aspen uphill, which is considered America's uphill. 3,000 vertical feet in like 40-something minutes, I believe. Seventh place with Patrick O'Neill in the North Face Grand Traverse, which is a 33-mile race. Insane. 6,800 vertical feet. He just won the Heathen Challenge, which is a Sunlight Mountain Resort. That's 11.4 miles. And probably his biggest accomplishment ever was taking the stage in a Speedo for Aspen Fashion Week. Tell me about that, man.
Oh God! I mean, talk about a nerve-wracking moment. I've never done anything like that before, and it was an incredible event. 500 people in the audience. Walking down this runway in the scantiest of clothing pieces, all for a good cause, raising money for that. The Aspen Hope Foundation, which raises awareness around folks who are kind of languishing in depression and don't know who to turn to. Really a cool program, amazing thing that they're doing here in Aspen, and a lot of fun. It definitely gets your blood boiling being out there exposed, but it was great.
Cool, man. And the last thing I wanted to cover is you just basically qualified for a major event in Switzerland. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but you're going to be representing the red, white, and blue in Switzerland for the Skimo World Championship in ski mountaineering. Tell me a little bit about how the mountains have played a role in your life, man. I mean, you're a big-time skier, big-time mountain biker. You're a fisherman. You're an artist. I mean, pretty much everything you do it. And how has the mountains played a role in your life?
Yeah, I really think, I'll tell you really, so I was born in London and I moved to the Rocky Mountains when I was 5 years old. And one of the first things I did when I moved with my family was my folks took me to an IMAX movie, and the movie was Everest. It was called Everest. I don't know if you ever saw that, but basically it documented the tragedy of the 1996 expedition. And I remember, into thin air and all that. And I remember seeing these men and women climbing this mountain and thinking, being just really in awe of their ambition and, their ability to sort of build their mental fortitude in this incredibly harsh environment. And I wanted to do that. And I came back home. I was I think 6 or 7 years old, and I began a fiercely disciplined sort of regimented lifestyle. At the age of 7, I would get up at 6 a.m. and run through the powder snow in my backyard and pretend like I was training for Everest. And that really never left me. I still do that in a different kind of way now. I have fallen in love with kind of high altitude endurance, ski racing in the mountains. And I really think a lot of folks love the mountains for, I can appreciate a nice sun-drenched mountaintop, still, calm, beautiful. But, what I really connect with is something a little bit more visceral and more of a capricious experience where you don't know, what sort of environmental, features are going to hit you, and you've got to be ready for that. And I like a little bit more uncertainty.
Right. Yeah. You asked me that question the other day about the beaches or the mountains, and I think I had the comment about you never know what's around the next corner when you're in the mountains.
Comment of a lifetime right there. Really characterizes.
I don't even know where it came from.
Yeah.
But that was my experience too. Was like you never know what to expect. You have to be on your toes the whole time. You're always presented with challenges, and I think that is kind of the reason me and you connect so well is because we do have that same outlook on the mountains. It's kind of the beauty's there, the serenity's there, but it's also the unexpected turns that you come across that they kind of make the mountains what they are. Um, Awesome, man. I appreciate that. So your training, let's touch a little bit on your training, man. You said you started at 7 years old running through the backyard in the powder snow. I follow you closely on Instagram and Facebook. Man, some of your training stuff's intense. What does your day look like as far as training for this big race in March?
Well, you know, the race in March is a sprint race. So how I describe it to people, Jamie, is it's basically like a track mile. It lasts about 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes. It's an all-out sprint, and what it is going up the mountain and then coming down the mountain in a sort of ski racing type descent with gates, and then an uphill Nordic style kind of skate finish. So I do a lot of intervals. I do intervals, you know, 2 to 3 times a week, and then I'll do a couple days where I'll get up very, very, very early. You know, really I'll get up between 3:30 and 4 a.m. and I will make an espresso, put my legs up, do some muscle stimulation on my quads and calves, kind of wake my body up, do a little bit of reading, and then I'll hit the slopes and I'll skin and ski for about 4.5, 5 hours. And I'll do that maybe once or twice a week to get that really big volume in. And that's just building endurance.
Awesome. Yeah. For those people who don't know, I didn't know until I moved out west what skinning is. Can you kind of tell people what skinning is?
Yeah, I feel like I need to back up and explain that.
No, you're fine.
Basically what it is I describe it as ultra running with skis on. So what you're doing is you're moving up the mountain with it's a piece of fabric called the skin, and the skin is made usually of mohair. Mohair comes from the Tibetan Angora goat, and what it is that one side is mohair, and the other side of this piece of fabric is an adhesive. You stick that on the bottom of your ski. Basically, it allows you to walk up the mountain, and be able to grip the slope, grip the snow. And so basically, when you see someone skinning, you're looking at them, and it's looking like they're classic Nordic skiing. So just sort of gliding up the mountain. It's incredibly cool and sort of it's a beautiful thing to watch. The Italians do it the best, and they're just gliding. You know, they look like they're just floating along. They're moving incredibly fast and efficiently, and ultimately that's what I love to do. I love to move efficiently throughout these mountains and quickly.
Awesome. Yeah, I've never done it, but I didn't know what skinning was till I got there, and I was like, we're talking about going up the mountain with skis on? Most people want to come down the mountain, but it seems very difficult, and I've watched people do it, and I've watched you do it, and it's incredible to watch. But what adversity have you come across, man? Like, have you encountered any obstacles along your journey that you would want to touch on?
Yeah, you know, I would say really just most of the time it's either injury or just fatigue. And for touching on fatigue, if I'm just so tired that I don't know if I want to continue to train at this intensity every day, you know, I try to remind myself just how lucky I am that, you know, I have these legs that, you know, that are strong and healthy, and I have these lungs that you know, desperately want to continue climbing, and I have this just you know, incredibly powerful passion of this sport, and just being outside doing what I love. And I just try to remind myself that that's a beautiful thing, and there's plenty of people that don't have that. So I I kind of tell myself to shut up when I'm complaining, so to speak, and just be grateful. So I think gratitude is a big part of how I kind of get through that, and um, telling myself that it's really it's an internal process. I would say I try to you know um, you know get through things by you know really connecting with that the reason why I'm doing this every day. And I think you really have to kind of reassess that why a lot.
Yeah.
When you're doing something difficult, you have to make sure that what that why is.
I agree. I think that's going to be the biggest thing we touch on, is that exact piece right there, the why, figuring out why you want to do something. And that's what's going to keep you going whenever the going gets tough. I think that's massive. I think that's probably the biggest piece of advice we can give, or you can give for sure. And I couldn't imagine doing some of the training you do as far as the strenuous activity and the long distance and then the sprints and all that stuff. I can't wrap my mind around it. But you know why you're doing it, and that's the reason Jack continues. It's awesome. So what about this race you have in March? Man, tell us a little bit about the process of being qualifying for that, kind of the process that took, and what this race means to you.
Well, so every 2 years, the World Championships take place somewhere in Europe, whether it's Italy, Switzerland, Germany, and the sport of ski mountaineering is much more ubiquitous. It's much more popular in Europe, and it's still a growing sport in the United States. And 2 years ago, I tried to qualify for the U.S. national team and be able to travel to World Championships to compete, but I actually missed the team. I didn't qualify, and I was devastated. And I think that was a moment where I really realized kind of the workload that needed to happen on my end to qualify. So this year, 2 years later, was another opportunity, and I took full advantage. I hired a coach. It's been a very amazing, incredibly difficult last few months in terms of the physical and mental energy I put into this sport. And I was able to qualify, and it was an amazing moment for me. And I'm just really humbled and proud that I get to go ski with a bunch of cool dudes and cool gals in Europe and compete with them and against them. And it's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
That's awesome. And this sport's, I mean, you were talking a little bit with me the other day about the travel that you're going to get to do with your girlfriend over there. I mean, what has this sport done outside of just your physical ability and the connections you made? I mean, what's it done for your life as far as travel and experience?
Man, it's, you travel a little bit in the United States, but I think this will be a big moment in March when I do get to kind of experience the grittiness of European racing and what it takes to compete at that next level. And I'm going to race on March 10th at the World Championships, and then I'm also have the opportunity. I'm very lucky to compete the following weekend in another World Cup in Descentes, Switzerland, this other little quaint little village, and I'm very excited for that. Get some more experience under my belt and mix it up with the big boys.
That's awesome, man. So cool. Yeah. I mean, I think what we've touched on here is one of our biggest themes as a complete athlete is dedication. I mean, just the drive, the passion, connecting with the purpose, the why. Why do you want to continue? And I think for young athletes out there, it's important to understand that it's just not a sport that you go out and play. It's a lifestyle. It's dedication. It takes something a little bit more than just the physical grind. It's not necessarily everything that's physical that you can put your hands on. It's not fielding the ground ball. It's not swinging the bat. It's not making the pass, the catch. It's more about what happens up here. And I think that's the biggest thing that we can take away from this is your dedication, passion, and connecting with that why on a daily basis. I got 2 more questions, and we're going to call it. You talked about reading a little bit ago, first thing in the morning. What's your personal growth journey like? Like, what's your biggest – I know that's one reason me and you connect so well. Like, what do you read?
Yeah, totally. I would say I try to read 10 minutes a day, and I try to do it in the morning, whether it's, I'm reading a really cool book right now called 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. And it's really a cool book. And so I just try to read a few pages of that, 10 minutes. And then I also try to, I read a little bit in Spanish. I will go on to BBC Espanol or CNN Espanol, and I'll try to read an article in Spanish, and really kind of gets my mind, into that uncomfortable place where I'm sort of wondering what the heck I'm reading, and it really kind of taps into a problem-solving type of mentality that sets a great tone for the rest of the day. I love languages, and I'm learning French at the moment because this little town I'm going to in Switzerland is French speaking, so that'll be cool. And I think I drink a lot of coffee, probably too much. And, I think I try to create some meaningful mantras that I actually say out loud to myself when I'm walking to work. And I think it sounds kind of weird, and I'm sure there have been people passing me by that are looking back saying, is that guy talking to himself? What the hell is he doing? I'll say, and this goes for not just daily life, but also moments before a race. I'll say, take care of business, and the hay's in the barn. And I think that just reminds me that you've done the work, you're ready for this, you're ready to move forward and kick ass, and it kind of instills confidence. And I think having those mantras can be very powerful. I think you have to make sure that they truly they're personalized. You can't just look something up on the internet and make it yours. I think you really have to sort of embody that mantra.
Right. I just wrote down the hay is in the barn. I mean, that's something I can relate to. I like that. It's a pretty cool one.
Stacked very high. You'll believe it. I mean,
yeah.
It's hard. You're tired, and oh my God, I've done all this work and I'm exhausted. And hold on, the hay is in the barn. You've done the training. You're going to be great.
Awesome. Man, that's something to take home for sure. So what's one last little piece of advice you could leave a young athlete, somebody looking to make it to the next level?
Oh, man.
Besides the hay's in the barn, because that's a good one. Put forth the work.
Yeah, I think I would just say, I think I would say this. I think I would say, remember that results aren't everything. And what I mean by that is, as an athlete that wants to perform at an extremely high level and cares deeply about being first or second or third on that podium, I want to be there every single time. Absolutely. Results are important, but they're not everything. And remembering that, you're doing this because you love it, because you love competition, or because you love being outside or on a track or on a field, whatever it may be. I think remember that you're not going to have this forever. Hopefully you will, but injuries happen and life changes, responsibilities and priorities change, and just try to enjoy the ride a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah, I would agree. That's a good one. I mean, I think we get too caught up in the end result, and sometimes we lose focus on what's happening in the current situation. I think we lose touch, and it's about the people you meet and the hands you shake and the experience for sure. But Jack, I sincerely appreciate you hopping on here and joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me. This has been great.
Yeah, man. Best of luck to you. I know we're probably going to, if you don't mind, I'm probably going to invite you back after you get back from Switzerland and talk about your first place finish over there, man.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. best of luck to you, man. I appreciate it again. Tell Alexandra I said hello.
Absolutely, man.
Y'all,
Great to see you.
yeah, man. Good to see you. Y'all take care.
All right, brother. Take
Yeah,
care.
see ya.
Bye.